So it's only been 30 days since the last 6.2 liter problem video I've done. Watch this story, and I've got more after this. This is wild.
So the story on my ZR2s, at 14,000 kilometers, the first engine blew up. It took GM 2 months to put the engine back together. After I got the truck back with the second engine, it blew up with 148 kilometers on it. The tires locked up, coming to a screeching halt on the highway, almost got rear-ended, almost killed my family. So I argued, I wanted a brand new truck. Here's the second truck. About a year and a half in, the engine blew. Engine number 3 blew. This is engine number 4. That's what the firewall looks like after I got my truck back. It was at the dealership for 35 days. They told me it could be rodents. I live in Manitoba, so there's no rat that could chew that in 30 days. The assembly on this truck is not quite up to par. There's nothing that's holding this whole front corner on. I'm washing it and there's wires hanging out. Nothing's hooked up. And this is what you get from Chevy. You get a garbage product. They'll warranty 1,000 times over. Nothing's put back together, right? Oh yeah, we'll just fix it one more time for you. One more time. Do your research, people. Do not buy a 6.2 from this company.
So there you go. I mean, can you imagine? This guy says he's been out of his truck 110 days out of service out of 700 days of ownership. This is his second truck. His first truck went through 2 engines. That's wild. And this one's on its second engine. Warranties don't matter if the product sucks this bad, in my opinion. Thanks to C-Tech Review on YouTube. Check him out. He actually sent me this reel. Buyer beware, do not buy the 6.2. Still see people in the Facebook groups going and buying these trucks. Like this guy said, do your research. If we don't vote with our wallets by not buying them, they will never change their behavior. I wanted to go see, do we have any more new dead NHTSA complaints? And in fact, we do. For the 2026, the current model year. So here's this first complaint, January 20th. Pretty darn recent. These are Chevy Silverados. I'll show you the Sierras here in a second. January 21st, 2026, the dealership informed him that his engine is going to need replaced. He was driving from Dallas-Fort Worth to Oklahoma City, driving down the highway on I-35 about 80 miles an hour, suddenly felt a loss of power in his truck, started to bog down. Luckily, he got off the road, didn't cause an accident. 6,457 miles on that thing. Gonna take him 4 to 6 weeks to get that thing replaced. Then this guy on January 22nd, oh my gosh, he's been through the ringer. So first he said he had like low oil pressure, says he was 2.5 quarts low. Chevy indicated that consuming oil was normal. On November 17th, he got that picoscope inspection performed and his engine passed. So he said they installed the higher viscosity oil and put the new oil cap on. The next day, November 18th, his engine failed. So they inspected at the dealer and they're like, dude, bro, you're good to go, man. 0W40. Sweet, hit the road, man. Dead the next day. Good thing their inspection protocol's perfect. This is why NHTSA is reinvestigating them, because they know the 040's not fixing it. People have had repeated problems after that, and they've had problems after the brand new engines. And he did confirm damaged crankshaft journal requiring replacement of the 6.2 liter engine. So it is wild that this just continues to happen. Here's another guy. So apparently if you went to the dealer and they said, hey man, you're good to go, just get that thicker oil. Now they're starting to pop off like crazy. This guy, vehicle died, the engine locked up. Recall to test the engine and replace with the thicker oil was performed 6,000 miles previous to this engine failure. And here's yet another one, a 2024 Silverado with the L87. Brought it in for the recall, got it inspected. The Chevrolet Service Center said it was good. Then they changed the oil to 040 per the recall. On January 8th, he was driving 35 miles an hour and the engine just stopped. And we've got January 12th, 2025, a 2025 Silverado, catastrophic engine failure at 4,500 miles. And you'll see some 3.0 diesel sprinkled in here too. Again, I would stay away from the 3.0 diesel until they get that figured out. Just seems like one of those problems that seems to keep coming up in these complaints. Thrust bearing 3.0 diesel on January 9th. And here's a good example of why you shouldn't buy used versions of this, especially out of warranty. A lot of people think, oh, if I get past like the first 5 to 10,000 miles, I'm in the clear, right? That's not necessarily true. I've seen some in here with 30,000 miles that are dead. This is a 2024. Is engine shut off while driving down the highway? It's always the same case, right? They're always buzzing along on the interstate and it just dies. 6.2 liter 2024 Silverado. Now this guy said he got the thicker oil about 8 months ago. So yeah, Band-Aid lasted 8 months. And he's wondering, he says, I'm not sure if I can trust the replacement engine. I can answer that for you. I would not trust the replacement engine. We've seen so many of these online get replaced and just die immediately after. I couldn't imagine trusting these engines. January 17th, engine burning massive amounts of oil. Noticeable tick in the engine. That one's probably going to go soon. And this one's wild. Low mileage lifter problems. 5,449 miles. Engine had a knock. He said he took it to the dealership and they replaced the valves and the lifters. That's weird. January 13th. Now here's some super recent GMC Sierras. February 8th, 2026. This is a 2026 Sierra 1500. This contact owns a 2026 GMC Sierra 1500. They were driving down at an undisclosed speed. Vehicle had an abnormal sound. This is how they all go. It was taken to the dealer and they determined that the engine needed to be replaced. I love this part of the complaint. The vehicle was not repaired or maintained at the dealer. It has 6,000 miles. According to all these manufacturers, you don't even need to replace the oil in the first 5,000. Right. Here's another 2026 Sierra on February 4th. This one exhibits RPM flutter and rhythmic harmonic vibration at idle. So those are apparently symptoms that the connecting rod crankshaft problems are coming up. So they're keeping his engine and it's going to get replaced. By the way, these are all, since my last video I did like a month ago, every one of these, and I could find probably 100 if I really just went out for it. It'd just get boring after a while. Here's one, January 26th. Total engine failure at highway speed, loss of propulsion, catastrophic engine loss at 3,000 miles. This guy's upset. GMC never fixed the problem with the 6.2 like they said. I bet this dude watches these videos. And here's yet another Duramax since the last video I did. January 15th, driving at highway speed, went into limp mode. Dealer diagnosed that it needs a new 3-liter Duramax engine per the TSB. Reminder, this TSB 25NA307, that TSB is not a recall yet you still see these 3.0 Duramaxes dropping. Why is it not a recall yet, GM? Look, I could go find story after story and read them off here, show you guys what's going on. And for some reason, many people still buy these. I mean, to the tune of like 200,000 or 300,000 of these trucks every year are probably 6.2 liter engines. Hopefully the word is getting out. People voting with their wallets, maybe going to other brands. Look, this General Motors 6.2 issue to me makes the Toyota issue look tiny. If you look at the Tundras, I actually don't see still any 2026 Tundras that have died in the NHTSA complaints, where you can find Chevys, GMs already dying. And even in the previous recall for General Motors, they had like 28,000 that were documented that had failed already before they issued that initial recall for the 21 through 24s. That is just wild to me, how they got to wait until 28,000 engines had died before they were like, yeah, you know what? We might have a problem here. I guess it's all just numbers, right? They can justify it to NHTSA and say, look, it's a 3%. It's really not that big a deal, 3%. What percentage to you matters? To me, I think the indication of a good powertrain is when you see like maybe 1 or 2 failures in like a 2 to 3 year span. That's what we used to see with the old 5.7 liter Toyota platform, even some of the old GMs, some of the Fords. Like you don't see 3% or even 1% of engines fail as a normal percentage. 1 out of 100 is not normal for good manufacturing. Neither is 3 out of 100. Anyway, I hope this helps someone out there avoid the 6.2, the 3-liter diesel. And by the way, I've seen some 5.3s also failing with lifter problems early on. I would just stay away from General Motors altogether unless you're going with the 2.7. That's it. I know it's crazy, but the little 2.7 liter, or jump up to the HD trucks, I think they're more reliable on the GM side. Or look at almost any other brand at this point. I've done videos on the powertrain in the past. Getty's Adventure and all these other YouTube channels have done that as well. I think the word's starting to get out on what reliable powertrains are and how to look that up. You can check out my website, thecarguyonline.com, if you want to see these NHTSA reports and recalls. Look at the Facebook groups. That's another tip that you can do. You could go to the Facebook groups, join these groups, see what kind of failures and what kind of problems these folks are having. And the chances are, if people are having a widespread problem in the first year, like if you see 5, 10 complaints, you can extrapolate that out to many complaints because it's the first model year or second model year. That's going to get worse as time goes on. Anyway, hope this helps you out. Happy shopping, everybody. Thanks for watching.